Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello once again, Liberty County. We're here to give our monthly COVID update. We're happy to be in the presence of Mr. Kenny Howard, the city manager of the city of Hinesville, the Honorable Larry Baker, the mayor of the very fine city of Walthamville, and my favorite county manager, my county administrator, Mr. Joey Brown, to include those in our audience who are our media gurus. And of course, I see our assistant county administrator, Mr. Joe Mosley, there, as well as Madam Heather from the city of Hinesville, who's here with us. So those are a lot of folk who are behind the scenes that help make this possible. We just want to thank them for what they do every day to bring this production to you. Not going to be long today. We enter a brand new month. We are thankful for a successful Memorial Day holiday. Some things have changed since our last gathering, which you will hear about those things from those who shall follow me. But we want to appreciate the Liberty County audience for being who you are and for working with us as we try to continue to navigate our way through COVID-19. I guess the overwhelming message today is it's not over. It's just not over. It's better, but it's just not over. And you may hear some stats in a minute that are some concern to you about our transmission rates here in our county. So we want to continually work on that. We can't do it by ourselves. We have to be together on that. We thank the Team Liberty for their support, and we ask you for your continued support as we move forward through this pandemic. But we're glad that it's summer, and we're glad we do see some light, so we're happy for whatever part you played in that. Now we'll be followed with the verified mayor of the city of Walthamville, Mayor Larry Donnell Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to Team Liberty, and to you, the citizens of Liberty County, but especially the citizens of Walthamville, Georgia. Let me say again, thank you so much for adhering to the call and working with us as we work with you during this time of the pandemic. The city of Walthamville City Hall is open from 9 to 5. We're still following the CDC guidelines, wearing your mask when you're entering the city hall, also with your temperature check. The Johnny Fraser Park off of Shaw Road, it is open, so we ask you to continue to be in prayer as we move forward. At this time, again, I want to say thank you to Walthamville, and I yield the floor to City Manager, Mr. Kenny Howard.
Good morning, Liberty Countyans and our residents and citizens of Hinesville. We thank you for joining us this morning. Just want to touch on a few things that is very important for us as it relates to this pandemic. But first and foremost, I extend the regret of our Honorable Mayor Allen Brown for his absence. He could not be with us today, and he sent his regards to each and every one of you. The governor has extended his executive order for public health emergency. This executive order will expire on June the 29th at 11:59 p.m. As I reflect back on the beginning of this pandemic, we have had, unfortunately, 62 deaths that have occurred within our community, and we extend our condolences to those family members who've lost loved ones. We really do extend our heartfelt condolences because one life lost is too many. And so we pause to say that we're sorry for those families that have experienced that. I would like to also caution everyone at this time. I know that's not what we want to hear today, but our numbers, I want to just point out a few things here. The community transmission index is the indicator, if you will, so far as the spread of the virus. And currently, and I'm going to reflect back on the coastal Georgia region, if you will. In this district, we have 8 counties. And for an example of where we are within that district, out of the 8 counties, 7 of the counties are below that threshold. 7 of the counties are below that threshold of 100 cases on a 14-day rolling cycle. And guess what? The only county that's not above that, that is below that threshold is Liberty County. Liberty County, out of the 7 counties, are the only county, we are the only county that is below that threshold of 100. In fact, Mr. Brown will come and share some numbers with you a little later on. He and I had a discussion about some of this yesterday. That is, concerning to us. We are at what I think 150, 160 range, and again, Mr. Brown would get into the details of those numbers. I've just told him this, and I'm quite sure he's prepared. I did this to him once before, and he wasn't prepared then, and I know he's prepared now. So I've done it several times after that, and he's always come prepared. So I don't even doubt that he would not be prepared today. But I want to share with you this. So far as the city of Hinesville is concerned, we are going to stay the course so far as the facilities that we manage within the city of Hinesville. The mask, this math it works miracles, guys. This mask works miracles because it protects not only you, the one who is wearing it, but those who may come in contact with you. And so we're going to still encourage you to wear your mask. We're going to social distance, and we're checking temperature as you come into city facilities. We just have to stay the course until we get on the other side of this pandemic. We are not there yet. We're getting closer. We know that there are some anomalies here in our community. We have our neighbors who are a great asset, a valuable asset to our community. But some of those numbers are not included, and then some of the numbers that may adversely impact our overall numbers are included. And so we don't know all the dynamics there, but we do know that it has an effect on our end results, our bottom line. And so we're just going to ask everyone in the community, because we don't look at it as military versus civilian from that perspective, because we are intertwined, we're all living together. And so we're just going to ask everybody to please, let us be mindful of the fact that we're not where we need to be so far as getting out and interacting and with one another like we should or used to in the past. Now, we are going to allow for the city of Hinesville, we are going to allow for assembly permits, which the gathering of more than 50. We have some guidelines. We are going to allow those type of events to happen, provided that you present to us a plan to modify the event to ensure that you are socially distancing and you are adhering to CDC guidelines. And we want to get back to that sense of normalcy, but we're just not there yet. And so we're going to continue to work towards that, because everyone is ready to get back to the outside event and even coming inside of facilities, buildings, and interacting with one another without the mask. However, the reality of the situation is we're just not there yet. So we just ask that you continue to indulge us, be patient with the city of Hinesville staff as we enforce these guidelines and to get back to where we want to be. And with that, I'm going to pause, but the mayor would want me to say, continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. That's what Mayor Allen Brown would say each and every time he stands up here. And so with that, I'm going to yield to my colleague, the distinguished. I forgot that terminology the chairman used just a few minutes ago, but he is my, I started to say extinguished, but he is my distinguished colleague. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. I think all of us through the COVID are feeling extinguished. That was probably a great term. So thanks for bearing with us. somebody today said, how much longer y'all gonna continue to do those things? And I said, as long as the powers that be tell us to, number one. But number two, is as long as, like Kenny mentioned, this goes on. So I think I'll hold some thoughts on some of those numbers to the end. Let me speak about the county real quick. There really is no change in our pattern here. We're very anxious as a county to get back to some normalcy, which is full integration into the building settings and things that we have. And I'll come back to the transmission rate in just a second. Recreation continues to function with outdoor activities only. There's still no internal reservations that are being allowed in our internal facilities at this time. Our office status, just like the city, we have some limited access still inside of the building. You do have temperature checks as well as some masking requirements inside the building. The masking requirements can be mandated internal to the facilities for health purposes by local governments, as long as an emergency order is in effect by the state. You heard Mr. Howard address that earlier, which it still is. Court, as you know, if you've had any interaction there, has cranked back up under certain guidelines, and that'll continue to do that. Let me jump to the transmission rate just a second. So we were down, got down as low as 105, 106 on the transmission rate index. That is the guide, I would tell you, that the commission has generally tried to follow as a guide to say, look, if we get below that 100 level that Mr. Howard mentioned, then we think we've reached a good point. If masking cannot even be considered, we've reached a good point then to possibly reopen some facilities. So the good news is we got down to 105 a couple of weeks ago. The bad news is as of the 31st of May, we were at 163, definitely in the wrong direction, almost twice a mask mandate allowance cycle. Directly affected, obviously, by the transmissions like Mr. Howard mentioned. So I'm not going to sound like any Dr. Fauci. I wouldn't go beyond that to say, look, there are ways that you can stop or slow down those transmission rates. We all have our beliefs on the vaccinations and whether they work or what they do or don't do. But the fact is, just like with normal flu, the more people that are vaccinated in a community, less transmission is going to happen. This virus is no different in any respect than the regular flu in that. The vaccination rate for Liberty County, Mr. Howard mentioned being low on the totem pole, high, however you want to look at it, on the transmission rate. The vaccination rate is another one that we're winning. We are dead last in the coastal district with vaccination rates. Those numbers that are trapped by the health department, and these do not include what they're doing on the military base, we're running at a partial vaccination rate, those with one shots, at 17%. And full vaccination rates at 14%. And to those of you, well, again, whether you believe it or not, I know we can do better than that. So, it's kind of, the ball is really in your court. The ball is in our court. If we get the transmission rate lowered, things will return to more of a normal. If we don't, they won't. So I think the decision is yours to make. I wouldn't suggest what you need to do or not do. You know what you need to do. But I do know what the guide is, and the guide's headed in the wrong direction. We got to do something to get that down. I do say thank you, though. A little bit of getting on, I think, folks, about that, but a little bit of disappointment. Thank you for what you have done. It's been a tough time. There have been some businesses and things that have relaxed some restrictions. We're very, very anxious to have you back in our meetings, back in our facilities. Our managers look forward to that in that day. So please, please help us get there. As far as meetings go, we're going through some budgetary stuff right now. We'll tell you that it continues to run up on Facebook Live. If it's a public hearing type environment, even though you're not allowed in the chambers at this time, we do monitor those comments and we do respond to those comments live. So again, please help us. Please help us get to where we need to be. I'm thankful, like the others, that we have been able to return a little bit. Let's finish the task. Let's win the game and get on out there and finish the task. In keeping with that comment, I'll turn real quick and say, is there any question that's popped up from the media guys? Okay. So thank you again for letting me address you, and we love you. Just be safe.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you, Team Liberty. I want to close with two things, and I'd like to bring it home. First, I want to appreciate the Liberty County Board of Education for having graduation in person. Excuse me. It was, I enjoyed it because my grandson graduated from Bradwell on this past Saturday, a week ago, and it was good to be on the field. And I'm proud to say a lot of people wore masks, even outside on the field. So on your own, you did that. So I really appreciate that. We were in a conversation a little while ago with Ms. Tammy Mims, the CEO at Liberty Regional, and she said they have lots of vaccine there. And the walk-in clinic gives a vaccine, and the clinic in Midway. But I have the walk-in clinic's number right here on my phone because I just gave it to someone. 369-9310. 369-9310 is the walk-in clinic's number. They will be happy to give you a vaccine. The second question someone asked me was, how much does it cost? You know, I kind of thought everybody knew it was free, but obviously everybody doesn't know that it's free. You know, the vaccine doesn't cost you anything, no matter where you get it. It's free. It's free. So please, ma'am, and please, sir, consider that. Once again, being personal, my son-in-law just lost his uncle, his mother's brother, to COVID. So it's very real. It's very real. It's not over. It's very real. So while we think we're on the top of the hill, we may be climbing the hill, but we're not on the top. We're on the top. And listen, I love to use the term Liberty County proud, but it doesn't make me proud to hear the stats that Mr. Howard and Mr. Brown gave about where Liberty County is when it comes to our rate of vaccination. So Liberty County, we can't be last at anything. We just don't roll like that. We just don't roll like that. So I know some of you have strong feelings that, you know, and I will respect that. But those of you who would be considerate, please, ma'am, please, sir, consider the vaccinations. With that being said, we will continue to wash our hands, you know, wear our masks, watch our distance. Until next time, thank you. Have a great day.